excited to be here and to be joined by my delightful colleague, Donna Howard. We both share a passion for healthier Texas. And given the weather this morning, I hope you all have had your flu vaccine. Myself and my staff all had ours last week. As we return to the Capitol building for another legislative session, we know that there will be many vigorous debates in the coming months on the House floor. But let there be no debate about the effectiveness of vaccines. They work. The science is 100% on the side of those who advocate for widespread immunizations to eradicate vaccine-preventable diseases. Vaccines were one of the medical marvels of the 20th century, eradicating diseases like polio, which was so devastating less than 100 years ago for those that were afflicted by it. But for some reason, there's a growing movement afoot to question the science and effectiveness of vaccines, which has led to a 19-fold increase in the number of non-medical exemptions in our public schools since 2003. Discredited research offered by discredited sources. But sometimes parents don't know, and sometimes adolescents are not willing to have that conversation with their parents. That's why I've authored legislation for adolescents age 14 and above to legally offer their own consent to receive the HPV vaccine. This is about cancer prevention, pure and simple, and allowing adolescents to protect their own health today and in the future. Secondly, I have written legislation to study and report vaccination rates at the county level. Texas has some of the highest rates of cancer in the nation. This bill will give us a better, more detailed information to deploy limited resources that we have in a more cost-effective manner. A third piece of legislation I filed will require parents to take an online education class in order to receive a non-medical exemption for their child. This will not infringe on a parent's right to opt out of vaccination requirements, but it will help stop the many cases where parents opt out for matters of convenience and not based on personal conviction. It will give parents greater information about the safety of vaccines and the risks posed in not administering them. And lastly, I have authored legislation to change statutory language that today refers to conscientious exemptions to non-medical exemptions. Again, this preserves a parent's right to choose while taking the state out of the business of offering moral identifiers associated with such choices. Exemptions that are religious or made on other non-medical grounds will be classified as non-medical as opposed to the rare exemptions that are offered for medical reasons. I respect parents' rights. I also want parents to have access to the best information when it comes to a decision that could affect the life and death of their child. Cancers that are preventable should be prevented, and viruses that are preventable should be eradicated, and the safety and efficacy of vaccines should not be debated. Those who choose not to vaccinate their children can continue to do so in Texas. But every parent should know the potential costs, including the cost posed to children whose immune systems have been compromised by cancer and other diseases who are too frail to receive certain vaccines. When it comes to vaccines, the consequences of exercising your rights cannot be contained within your family. High contagious diseases carried by the unvaccinated can harm and kill other children, which the medically frail or our youngest little Texans who are not old enough to receive the vaccines. We each have an obligation to the communities we inhabit to stop the spread of preventable diseases, to keep our children healthy and safe. And given the weather this morning. I hope you all have had your flu vaccine. Myself and my staff all had ours last week. As we return to the Capitol building for another legislative session, we know that there will be many vigorous debates. The science is 100% on the side of those who one of the medical marvels of the 20th century, eradicating diseases like polio, which was so devastating less than 100 years ago for those that were afflicted by it.